This is Seth with bwinpokerblog.com, and today we're going to be looking at some of the action from the bubble play of a recent WPT Venice online finals that was held at bwin on April 11th. Basically just going to let the action roll here so that we can hopefully sort of bring you, not just show you, some of the action from the big tournaments at bwin and things that are going on each and every weekend, but also bring you a little bit of instructional content as far as how these players navigate sort of the end stage of these online finals. In this particular tournament, we started with 39 players. It's one of the weekly online finals that's held on both Saturday and Sunday at bwin, which in this particular tournament, 2 of these 3 players will take home $8,700 trip packages to the WPT Venice event coming up, which are pretty amazing trips for the players, where not only do the packages include their entry into the actual WPT tournament, but also their hotel and airfare and just an entire trip of fun as far as sightseeing and going out to restaurants and nightclubs and drinks and the whole 9 yards, really, that is just part of the package these players get with the bwin team. Picking up the actual action here, we started with 39 players and we're down to 3. And it's pretty simple as far as the top 2 finishers here get $8,700 trip packages. Third place gets a $540 ticket to a future online finals. So, in like a typical tournament, there's a pretty huge difference here between being first and second and then finishing third. With the actual action here, Dacilla is the chip leader, and he's roughly a little more than twice what both Pixel 101 and Wildcall have. As far as the dynamics there, which are fairly interesting, it's tricky for all 3 players, really, where both Pixel 101 and Wildcall are sort of playing cautiously and trying to pick their spots. These guys have played for about 3 hours, and nobody wants to finish third after that. So we haven't seen a hand go to showdown. Most of the hands, whoever raises pre-flop is taking down the blinds, which is both typical and sort of not typical at the same time, where there's just not usually with the dynamics of the situation, someone is a bigger chip lead and he's really pushing the table around. And in this case, Dacilla is the chip lead, but he also is careful himself because he knows if one of these guys doubles up through him, then they're basically tied for first and second. And third place is not far behind him, so it's anyone's game at that point. Fairly standard as far as the raises you see here. It's typically folding to the button. The button's raising for 2.5 to 3 times the big blind, and that's usually enough to take it down. Dacilla's he's being active and raising his button, but he's not absolutely sort of pushing his stack around, as you might typically see from the chip leader, because he's got to know that these 2 guys in second and third, they're kind of playing a waiting game themselves, where they're just hoping that they'd love for Dacilla to knock out the other guy and to just get a walk basically and take down the trip package. So we haven't, that hand was sort of contested. Wildcall, who we should point out too, of the 3, Wildcall actually is qualified for a live event before, so he's been part of the bwin team. I'm not familiar with the other 2 players, so he's more, we just have to guess he's more experienced and is probably more comfortable in the situation. So we can see, when we started, he was third in chips, and he sort of picked his spots and contested a few pots and chipped up to the point where we have a hand here where he appears to be contemplating making a move of some sort, but he sort of gives it up. Pixel 101 was a chip lead at the second break. He's a little bit sort of play passively here. He's, he seems to be trying to hang on. We'll pause this here for a second as far as the action. Well, actually, we won't. We'll just let it roll. You saw there he defended his big blind and then folded to continuation bet. And that's been pretty typical of this play, where DeSilla's kind of pushed him around a little bit, being on his right, which you don't really want the chip leader sitting on your right and applying pressure to you, because you sort of have to pick your spots. And there again, Pixel 101 sort of, he raised his button and Walcall defended, and he gave it up when Walcall sort of min-raised him there. Which Walcall could have done that with sort of a large range of hands, because he's probably picked up on the fact that Pixel 101 sort of taking a passive route here. As far as stack sizes, we can see that Walcall's chipped up and Pixel 101 is down to about 10 big blinds, which isn't necessarily where you want to be at, as far as obviously not where you want to be at, but he's chipped down to the point where really his options he's losing the option to defend his big blind. He can't really call a raise. He's got to shove all in if he's going to play. The same for if he wants to open pots, where now if he opens for 3 or 4 times the big blind, he's basically committing himself. So instead of doing that, his better option probably is to push all in. He's probably going to need to make a move here pretty soon. Where you see him, and here again, he raised about 2 or 3 times, and they're actually going to play here. Basically, that was a coin flip with Walcall slightly ahead with his pocket sevens, but Pixel 101 flopped a 10 and then moved another 10 for trips. Now the tables are flipped, where Walcall's in a really bad spot here, where he's got 6 or 7 big blinds. He's about to, with 3-handed action, the blinds will hit him really quickly, so he's got to make a stand here and just hope that he can get a double up. It's facing a raise from DeSilla. And he ponders for a while here, and really it's all in or nothing. He goes all in, DeSilla calls with pocket sevens. So now DeSilla's slightly ahead. It's basically a coin flip, and Walcall is going to get unlucky here again with his coin flips, and go out. So, basically, interesting bubble as far as the stack sizes and things, and fairly standard, where at the end of these, a lot of times it really comes down to coin flips, and we saw that in the action here. So thanks for tuning in, and hopefully we'll have more of these videos to share with you.